Well, I know it was only moments ago that I read the opening prayer, but I'd like to refer back to it because both the opening prayer and the communion prayer, which kind of are like bookends for our Mass, express something, I think, on this feast day of Bernard that expresses something beautiful about these readings today. In the opening prayer, this is what we said. Opening prayer, O God, who made the abbot, Saint Bernard, a man, but let me pause. The abbot. Now, he was part of the Cistercian community. This is like the Marines of monks. They don't go out. They stay in the cloistered area. In cloistered monasteries, you don't speak to them directly. They're usually behind a screen. They're cut off completely. It's a very different life. And in his day, they probably were silent 98% of the day. So, O God, who made the abbot, St. Bernard, a man consumed with zeal for your house and a light shining and burning in your church, grant through his intercession. You know, for Catholics who are not well educated, they fall apart when other Christians say, you people pray to the saints. You're supposed to pray only to God, and that's what we do. This is the perfect expression of it. We say to Bernard, would you intercede to God? Would you pray to God for me? Just as I say, Mary, would you pray to God for me? And would you pray to God for me? And I have some people driving me crazy. Would you pray to God for me? And they all say, sure, I'll pray to God for you. They will intercede to God on my behalf. So that's what we're asking Bernard. Would you intercede on our behalf? Ask God to help us through your intercession that we may be on fire with the same Spirit and walk always as children of light. Not a bad intercession. That we may be on fire like he was, consumed like Bernard, and walk always as children of light. Now, these readings today are pretty interesting. Sometimes I'm going in circles, and so I had to put down I hate reading anything up here, except for my phone, of course. The first reading, if I had to sum up in just a phrase what the first reading was talking about, is, how much can a person endure? This is what Isaiah is saying. How much can a person endure? Israel had been exiled, thrown out. They had been stomped on by everybody. They were coming back in little pieces. They were coming back. They had been cut off from God, cut off from everyone. The Jews were miserably suffering, and they were beginning to trek back to a place where they could find themselves as a people. And still things were going wrong. But God assured them, in your terrible times and in all your suffering that's gone on for years, hang on to me, because I will help you endure. But the second reading, if I had to sum up what it was saying, I guess I'd put it like this: deal with it. Deal with it. But in a very gentle way, God says to his people, listen, through Paul, says, listen, you know, I know you're struggling and hurting, but look at it this way. Look at it this way. Your Father in heaven is disciplining you. Now, I'll tell you what I don't like about the reading first, before I tell you what I like about it. What I don't like is that it plants in people's heads this concept that if you get sick, God has given that to you to test you, to discipline you. No. There's nothing in the Scriptures that would really suggest that God throws illness and pain, and he lets somebody's son get shot and somebody get run over, and that's to discipline you and help you to grow. It may discipline you and it may help you to grow, but that's not what God is throwing at you. Life is life, and it stinks sometimes. Life is pretty tough, and it takes everything to get through it. But if we don't find a better way to look at life's toughness, then it stinks. We're going to suffer a lot more. We cannot become victims. So one way to look at it, and Paul is giving us a little wisdom here, look at it this way. We all have to suffer, but what if God is offering us some disciplined way of dealing with our struggles so that we can grow through them. And because I don't remember the last line, it really says it beautifully. When Paul says this, I'm sorry, wrong book. Paul says this, so strengthen your drooping hands. That's, well, how much must I endure? Strengthen those drooping hands and your weak knees. Woe is me. Make straight paths for your feet. And listen to what he says, that what is lame, all of this lameness, may not be disjointed but healed. It may not become or be disjointed but healed. Paul is really giving us a little ounce of wisdom. Turn it around, look at it differently. Take your struggles and your suffering and the things that aren't working out in your life and say, God, maybe this is going to help me. Discipline me, Lord, through this. Give me your grace, but help me just go through it. Which is not being a victim. It's not fighting it, saying, but I will struggle to get through it, and I can. With your grace, I can do anything, God. But the last reading, the gospel, if I had to sum up what it's saying, it is simply this. I'll do whatever it takes. And quite frankly, if we don't have that attitude, I'll do whatever it takes, we're going to find ourselves wanting very much. You know, watching the Olympics right now, I haven't seen much of them, but you got to figure these are the best of the best of the best of the best in every sport. It's worth saying again, they're the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. That's how good they are. They rise to the top. How do you think they got there? They woke up one day and they're great sprinters. They worked hours. They had cramps. They fell on their face. They went through pain. But this is what they said, I'll do whatever it takes. I will do whatever it takes. Now, take that and put it into our Christian living. I'll do whatever it takes to follow the Lord. He says, love your enemies. Oh, God, there you go again. Okay, I'll do whatever it takes. Forgive everyone, no matter what. Really? I'll do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I want to be a disciple. I want to be the best disciple I can be. I'm willing to walk through it. I'm willing to fall on my face and get up. That is so much more than just coming to Mass. Coming to Mass is such a breeze that the 23 out of 100 that come, statistically, I want to say, really? You can't even come for an hour? Really? That's all you can do is an hour? It's nothing. This hour is nothing. What about the 23 hours a day? Someone do math real quickly for me. What is 6? Yes, but 23 because this is 1 hour taken out of this day. So if you took 7 days times 24 hours, give it to me. I know we're sleeping 8 of those, but come on, Joe, quickly, huh? So 24 hours a day, 7 days. 24/7, what is that? 168. Okay. 1 hour we come here, 167 hours we're supposed to be saying, I'll do whatever it takes. I will sleep like a Christian. I'll wake like a Christian. I'll walk like a Christian. I'll talk like a Christian. I'll eat like a Christian. I'll fight. No. Whatever it takes. And I'm saying, God, that's what I want. I want to be a Christian. I want to be a Christian man, a Christian woman, living it all my heart. I want to be transformed. I want to live new. I don't want what I see out there. I see nations hating and warring and killing for money, for power, for whatever, for prejudice, for past hurts. For God's sake, I don't want that. I want a spirit in me that is so filled with life, whatever comes my way, comes my way. Now, what am I going to do with it? So Jesus says in the scripture today, few will strive for it. Many will want it. Many will want it, but the few that strive will get in. Now, please do not misunderstand. He's not talking heaven or hell. It's even more urgent than that. He's talking right this minute. Because if we don't get that Spirit, I'll do whatever it takes, we're going to miss so many opportunities this day we probably maybe already have. What about tonight? What do we go home to? If it's not a perfect marriage, 11 out of 10, if all of our children aren't such a blessing that we weep for joy, 23 hours of the day, we weep for joy. If we don't have enough money, enough health, enough everything, if our lives are not perfect, and they aren't, I don't think for anybody, how are we going to be willing to live through that? If we're looking for a perfect plate, forget it. Forget it. But if we're going to strive, no matter what, strive, not just want it, not just ask for it, not just come for our hour, want it with all our heart and soul. That's what Jesus says. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. To get into heaven, no, to be ready right now for whatever comes our way. I listen to people constantly. I listen to myself. I get it. There's a lot of struggle and suffering, but I listen to a lot of whining. Why can't it be better? Why me? How long must I endure it? But Jesus is saying, that's life. That's life. But I'm calling you to something more than life. To know deep in your spirit that you can do it with my grace. All you need to do, this is all. Just say, I'll do whatever it takes. Because that's the spirit of one who will find grace upon grace coming into their life, even through their sin and even through their struggles.